really is a true 1400 truck.
What's with you guys in your damn carburetors? It's your boy Black Hat here with Arshia.
Down here.
Where's James? Oh, there he is. So we're here at the homie Alec Navarro's house. He has the infamous To The Moon truck, if you guys have ever seen it before, out in the Pismo Dunes, racing a snore battle at Prim for the last, what, 6 years or so? And so, yeah, man. So, hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? So we're at your pad, man. The truck is over there, but we seen this GTO. What you got? What's going on with this GTO right here? You doing this for a friend?
Yeah, I went through new motor, new trans, and new axle, so it'll be a highway cruiser for the guy.
Oh, right on.
That's nice, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alec does a majority of kind of oddball side jobs. You are the axle differential king around here, right?
Right, yeah. We build you a heck of an axle.
Yeah. Let's check out the baby.
Bought the truck in the beginning of 07 in high school, so it's been in the dirt the whole time. One of the things I didn't want to do was tear it down so far that it took like a year or two build or whatever, so it was always like one little upgrade at a time, which caused some things that are rushed on the truck, but I knew that if I cut it in half and left it in the garage, it would be down for a long time. So it's been in the dirt every few months since 2007, since I've owned it. So.
Right on, man. Dang, that's awesome.
That's an accomplishment. Man. So high school truck, and this thing's always out there.
Yeah, it's been in the dirt.
Awesome.
Yeah, the only time it took a dip was, I think it was down like 10 months while I was building the house. But other than that, it's been in the dirt pretty consistently for 13 years. Yeah.
Dang.
It somehow hasn't broken half yet. So, but yeah, it's had 5 different motors in it, 3 different beam kits, 2 different cages, like 7 different bed cages, several axles. I mean, it's been hacked apart and redone a lot.
so it really is a true 1400 truck.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Yo, what up, guys? Real quick, I'm just gonna go over some of the new merch we got. We dropped it on Monday. You probably already seen it, but if you haven't, here's a good look at it right now. So we got the Desert Destruction t-shirt. So we also made this one in maroon with the all-white logo. This is the same colored one we had on the tan hoodie we had. Those things flew off the shelf, and we're probably not gonna print them again. 90% of this stuff we're not gonna print again. If you see it, you like it, buy it, because everything's kind of a one-time deal. So next we got the Prerunner Dan logo. Same thing, logo on the front pocket. Not prepared for this. Duh! There it is. Cool. And then third, we have our new kind of moto style logo. I know it's a white t-shirt, we know, but don't wear it in the garage to build shit. Wear it out to a nice dinner. For the ladies, we have a tank top. It's also a crop top. It's got the kind of old school wreath logo we had on there. And then we have our aqua holdover windbreaker, just clean, lightweight, same logo on the front. And then last we have our heavyweight dusty rose hoodie. Same logo as the one on the white shirt. And then we got the little checkers down the sleeve. So from my wife, she said it's really comfortable. It's thicker than all the other hoodies we have. So if you like what you see, support us. We know it's rough right now. Hopefully all this stuff gets back to normal pretty soon. So keep supporting us and we'll keep giving you what you want. So thank you guys. Stay safe.
So it was built in my parents' garage initially. Then it was built when we decided to start racing Prim in 2012. We built it in Mitch's side yard at his parents' house. And then I eventually bought a house and we built it at that one. And then I actually sold Mitch my old house and bought this house, and now I work on it here. But yeah, it was a 97 Ranger, 4-cylinder, 5-speed. It went to a 4.0 and then the junkyard V8. Now it's got the 302 in it built now, so.
Nice. Basically, I got into photography and off-road racing because of Alec. He first started racing. That's when I first started shooting off-road.
You built these beams, or what?
Yeah, so that was some home-built stuff we did back in like 2010, actually.
Okay.
And it's still on the truck. We've upgraded to the 44 stuff, but yeah, Mitch built the steering swinger and all that on that setup, as well as all the tube work on the front of the truck. So we did that before we raced Prim in 13. We did all the steering and cage work up front.
Are they equal lengths, or?
Yeah, it's equal length setup.
So what shock setup are you running up here?
So it's the truck's way away in the front and king in the back. So the front has a 3.0 triple bypass and a 2.5 sway-away coilover.
Why don't you pop the hood? Let's take a look at that 302 you got in there.
What's the travel numbers on this thing?
19 in the front and 26 in the rear, I think.
And another carburetor. What's with you guys and your damn carburetors?
Okay, so when it stops running in the desert, it can only be like 2 wires or it like ran out of gas. And I don't have to whip out a laptop to fix it. That's what I like about it, okay?
See?
And we actually finally nailed it down with the sucker system on the bowls, and it really, I have no issues. The only thing I wish it did is, I'm not too good at tuning it, so the elevation change screws with it, which, you know, EFI would probably fix that issue, but other than that, I'm happy with it.
Well, and this thing's got like a mad crazy like racing carburetor on it, doesn't it? Like, didn't you have to like send it out to some dude to have
Performance Carb down south built it specifically for the truck and the motor and all that, so. Yeah.
Well, if it ain't broke, you know.
So what else is done to the engine? Because I know it's built a little bit, right?
Yeah, so it's a roller 302, 30 over, AFR 185 heads, air gap intake, and the big carb, and then it's got forged eagle crank, forged rods, pistons, all that stuff. So and then a Dan Olsen pan on it. It's opened up quite a bit, and we run it to like 7,000 RPM.
Nice, nice.
So I made like 315 to the wheels the first time we dynoed it, and we've tinkered with it since, but haven't.
And you guys basically built this engine to have not a bunch of power, but be reliable and last a while.
I wanted it to, sit at higher RPM. So one of the other kind of rare things about being a 1400 truck with a decent amount of horsepower is it's a 4-speed manual trans. So between the high RPM and the more gear options compared to most with a LS Turbo 400 combo, you can stay on the pipe the whole time and it actually makes the truck faster.
How old is this cage work?
So we did this in 2012 before we raced Prim on the side of Mitch's house. This was the first time me and him had done any serious cage work like this, so this was all like learning, which is what I like about this truck actually. You know, between Max and Mitch and a few others that are now like really good fabricators, a lot of it started on this truck. You know, we were all a group of friends in like 2010, 11, 12, and we decided to race this truck. This one was the closest one out of all of ours to a race truck. So everyone like put their knowledge and resources into this thing and tried stuff for the first time, and then
awesome.
We went out and raced it. So a lot of this has like, you know, you say, oh, this is Mitch's first attempt at cage work, and some of Max's first attempt at cage work, and then some of my terrible fab mixed in there, and so it was kind of a collaboration back then.
Yeah, just a bunch of homies working on trucks, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't know how to work on it.
Yeah, and so it's cool. Yeah,
Arshia.
Well, and then there's also an interesting story about this air cleaner. So there's a little bit of engineering behind the air cleaner, isn't there, Max? You guys had some trouble.
We had some really cool ideas for that to make it just make tons of power and stay cool and keep the fuel in if you ever rolled it, God forbid. And so we built this sweet air cleaner and it worked terribly. And so we modified it a little bit and it still worked terribly. We were shooting flames out the pipes and all kinds of stuff. And what we found out was happening was actually the air was getting sucked into that hat and swirling. And it wouldn't just allow the carburetor to kind of draft like it would from the atmosphere. So there's actually a bunch of baffles and different things in there and a splitter so that the air doesn't really have as much direction in that hat. And that got it to just work again. So what started out as a really cool idea turned into one of those like 12-hour projects to get it to just work.
It does make more torque with that intake piece on it. Interesting. Yeah. It has more get up and go off the hit with that setup. And then you get cold air from the cab and clean air from the cab, which was the main idea initially, was we just wanted to plumb it into the cab. Well, we didn't realize that the shape we made created like a venturi and it wouldn't like enter the carb correctly. So now if you look under there, it splits into two directions with the baffling like he's talking about, and it creates more static air to go into the carb.
And Max is our muffler exhaust guy.
Yeah.
So you kind of took some of that muffler knowledge as far as baffling is considered and incorporated into the intake to make it work correctly.
There's actually some muffler parts in that.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Nice. Calm down.
Yeah. So I mean, from the outside, it just looks like a big box, but there's actually, there's actually some thought
in there with
so there's actually some decent amount of thought gone into that. Let's move on to the back. Now, there's actually a cool thing about this logo. So like, wasn't like some old dude made that logo like back in the day or something for you? Or?
Yeah, Nicole had a designer do that. The idea for To the Moon initially came from the 2010 Huckfest. We heard about that event. I guess they had a small event.
The Dirt Cinema dudes.
In 09. And everyone's like, hey, there's a jump competition coming up in Pismo or whatever. So I was always telling people that I was going to go and try and win the thing or whatever, like represent the area as the...
What area is that?
Cen Cal, NorCal, I don't know what it's but yeah, and so everyone was asking me like, how far are you going to jump this thing? And I kept joking, I'm going to jump it to the moon. So a friend of mine and I duct taped it on the side of the truck before we did the jump, and then they actually let me start from the back fence, and we ended up jumping like 130 feet or something like that. And so
dang, dude, that's not bad.
It was in the all the magazines at the time and stuff, and so everyone thought To the Moon was really cool, and so Nicole decided to get like a logo made for the truck because that's kind of how everybody knew it. But it felt kind of silly leaving duct tape on the truck forever. So.
Yeah, right. You have recently upgraded the tire and wheel package, right? You were running 35s and Alcoas.
Yeah, forever the truck has been on Alcoa 15s and 35 projects, and so holes are getting so big out in the desert, I had to do something, so now we have the bigger tire combo.
It looks awesome, and you know what's so cool is I love the single cap, dude. Like a lot of people don't end up like all the way, but honestly, it's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm not very tall, but I still couldn't fit in it. We mocked it up a million times, so that's why we ended up with the external B pillar a long time ago.
Yeah. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you actually sit back behind the cab a little bit.
There's just no way you could fit. I could fit with a cage, and I like to sit further away from the wheel. But it was a combination of needing room and easy to work on when I was initially hacking up the truck, but we just put it behind the cab, which is still right over your head, so I don't think it compromises on safety, but it made a lot more room in the truck.
Yeah, so you can sit back further.
Yeah. And so I don't know, we'll see. It needs an upgrade in seat really bad, so I'm hoping to get a new set and making them fit too, which might be a challenge with how tight everything is in here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, while we're at it, let's take a look at the inside. I'm surprised. Is that door handle ever broken?
Yeah, it's this is like the fourth door. I keep getting smashed. But.
It's very race trucky in here, for sure.
Yeah, not built for comfort. It's actually rarely has a windshield, so I've never attempted to make it nice in here. In fact, the roof's been cut off several times and welded back on and all kinds of terrible stuff. So it's not a luxury Prerunner, that's for sure.
But it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. It works good.
But it
too.
puts a smile on your face when you're going through the whoops, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? Yeah. You got your essentials in here. You have a suppression system too on this truck.
I do. It is empty right now because my dog stepped on. I tried to take my dog around the block, and the dog. I forgot that I had just raced Prim, and I had the pin out in case I needed it for the race, and the dog got nervous in the truck and stepped on it. And we were going about 60 miles an hour on the street, and the dog stepped on it, and there's a nozzle right between the seats that sprayed the dog in the face instantly, and the dog almost jumped out the window at full speed, dude. And I had to grab my dog by the tail to keep it in the truck while I was trying to drive with this thing in my face. It was terrible.
So your dog accidentally pushed this in while you
stepped on it?
And it was an adventure.
And there's the nozzle right there.
Yeah, I sprayed the dog right in the face.
Sprayed the dog right in the face.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Was it Rocco?
It was Kimber.
Oh,
almost jumped out the window. This truck caught fire before I had the suppression system. I was racing Santa Maria And it's funny because Mitch came last second to be my co-driver, and he couldn't get a fire suit in time, so he snuck in the truck with jeans and a sweater on for the race.
Oh shit!
And I lost the power steering line right over the header. So the truck caught fire in one of the turns, and it's pretty funny because I panicked, not ever really preparing for it. Right. And I couldn't get that pin out fast enough. Oh, and shoot. But it was hilarious in the video because Mitch jumps out in like 0.2 seconds and runs far away and never looks back. And
is there footage of this?
Yeah, I have in-cab of it, I think, and I'll try and find it. But
we gotta find that.
I panicked and couldn't get this out. I finally got the pin out, and when I saw there was a guy running with can from like this one of the safety crew members. Yeah. I just let it go. It hit the ground, and then I was like too befuddled of some sort to open the door, so I just like flopped out the window. It was really embarrassing. So
you guys saved the truck
in the middle of the track. Yeah, the truck was fine. It was a small fire because it was just a little bit of power steering fluid, but
that's scary.
It was a factory line back then that I had on that failed, but now it's all been replaced. But yeah.
Awesome. So you guys want to check out the back?
So yeah, this is the result of it was a leaf sprung truck for a long time, and then when Mitch convinced me to cut it in half and do the links, I was so trying to keep the original bed cage and just wanted to link it with a C-notch. So we kind of like had a compromise and cut it like right before the axle and kept some of the tube work from the leaf spring cage, like the rear bumper section is all the same. We kind of like morphed it on, which I kind of regret now knowing that we could have just cut it at the cab and kind of started fresh.
Yeah. You're just thinking like, dude, more work. I don't want that.
Well, going back to, I like it to be down for a short period of time.
Right.
That was part of it. I really wanted to just get back in the dirt. So.
Right on.
So this is the 3-link. You guys did a 3-link on this for a specific reason, right?
Yeah. So our theory was, and this is the first truck we really linked, but being how narrow the Ranger frames were and how long of a link, we've seen in the past guys bending upper links a lot. And so we went with a overkill 3-link with massive 1-inch bolts on the frame on the front, and with a narrow, I think it's only like 32 inches wide on a Ranger frame or something, and these are pretty long links. So our theory was that it'd be stronger than a traditional 4-link on it. So.
You're the third member, dude. So tell us about this rear end.
It's got, right now it's actually, I'm playing with different gear ratios, so it has my spare in it, but typically, so it has a load bolt, 3 1/4 third. It's actually running a regular 9-inch gear, not a 10-inch in it yet. It's a 583 ratio 40 spline with the BMS 2.5-inch hubs on it.
The Blitzkrieg?
Yeah. Okay. So it's 40 spline, and then the housing looks like a kind of OEM stamped housing, but it's actually been retubed. It's been retubed with 3/8 wall tubing and pushed into the center section farther. So it's a traditional looking 9-inch stamped housing, but it actually is pretty stout with the tubing we put in there.
Nice, dude. Oh, it looks beefy.
So yeah, and then
super. Then you're running the sway bar right here.
Yeah, so that sway bar was kind of like an experimental deal before we kind of went with a more intense one. It's a pretty light setup, but to me it feels like it's on rails, so we ended up keeping it.
Right, so it's super tight. You could corner the hell out of this thing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is some highlights from racing, huh?
Yeah, mostly pictures from Evan.
Dude, what's cool was I noticed was this Dan Vance picture right here. For those of you that know Dan Vance, Vance Refrigeration. I'm just kidding, not from the office. But yeah, dude, honestly, I'm a huge Dan Vance fan, man. For those of you that don't know Dan Vance, he's a like OG Prerunner Godfather dude.
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot of people say. Up to him for as far as he was the mega huck king.
Yeah, dude. There's videos of this guy going just as big as everybody today.
I raced against him at a short course race, and we had a belt come off the truck, and we were doing terrible, but we were being lapped by Dan Vance, and there's a picture of us coming off a jump right in front of him, which is something I thought was really cool, because in the video, you don't know that I'm being lapped.
You don't know that you're being lapped.
Looks like I'm in front of Dan Vance in the picture coming off a jump, but
that's awesome.
Really, he was fast. He was lapping me. But
dude, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, shout out to Dan Vance, man. You are a huge inspiration, behind a lot of stuff that a lot of the guys in the crew do, from aggressive driving to racing to all that stuff, man. Always killed it, and I think he had, the Total Chaos race kit on that thing.
Mm-hmm. His truck is actually my inspiration for standard cab, big power, and a manual transmission. He ran a manual transmission, which very rarely do people
Right.
do that in a serious race truck. And so that was my inspiration for keeping this a manual.
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, thank you so much, man. We'll actually...
Well, before we leave, there's this like really cool half of a Bronco right here. So what's going on with this Bronco you got?
So this was...
I know, we're going to get probably like a million like questions and comments. Like, what the hell is that thing in the background?
Yeah, so this is a 69 Bronco that we pulled out of a field.
69.
And it was in terrible shape. It actually ran, surprisingly, it didn't look like it had run in 20 years, but started up at about 20 pounds of acorns, flew out of the exhaust. And,
What?
I pulled it into our backyard and stripped it down, and now it's a frame off, so we've got, we put a roller 351 Windsor that's actually about to start in it. Pulled the tub off and lined it, and we're in the process of rewiring it, but
Hell yeah.
it'll be the desert pit mobile hopefully, but we're trying to add some comfort. So it's got overdrive in it, fuel injection, air conditioning. So the goal
Big
is
plans.
to make it a like a luxury off-road mobile.
This is your dad's truck, right?
Yeah, I built it with my dad. It's something that he's wanted for a long time, so
Hell yeah.
it's our Sunday thing that we tinker on.
Ah, dang, the tinker count. Nor Cen Calians, whatever you guys are. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. Super stoked to be hanging with all the Cen Cal dudes. If you guys like what you saw, subscribe to the channel. Let us know who you guys would like us to see. Leave a message in the comments. We check those things out. Thank you guys. Later.